Reach for the speed, reach for the whistle, go where the rail may run. Reach for the words, reach for the story, follow the rainbow sun. To a shining time station, where dreams can come true, waiting there for you.
Another day's work had come to an end on the narrow gauge railway, and all the engines were in the shed. Sir Handel was telling a story. Nobody would dare go into Duke's shed, he said. You think wisely, said Duke. Hey, Skarloey, said Smudger. We've never told Luke the story of Proteus. Oh, I do love the story of Proteus, said Peter Sam. Shall we tell it again? Skarloey and Rheneas looked at each other nervously. It's getting kind of late, said Skarloey. Maybe we should go to sleep. Skarloey, said Rheneas. I think it's time we tell them the truth. What do you mean? Asked Sir Handel. Not yet, said Skarloey. They're a little young. Little young for what? Asked Duncan. It's time we tell them, said Rheneas. I'm just not ready, though, said Skarloey. I think they're too young. They're not too young anymore, said Rheneas. Well, stop wobbling and tell us already, said the old warrior. Okay, listen, guys, said Skarloey and Rheneas. We haven't exactly told you the story of Proteus yet. We told you a... What do you call it, Skarloey? Misconception, Skarloey said. Yes, we've told you a misconception. At the time, we thought you were a little young, but at least Skarloey and I agree that you are of age to know the truth. The engines were shocked. They had never been lied to, not especially by the two oldest engines. Here's the real story, said Skarloey. Long ago, before Rheneas and I were even thought of, Proteus was the only official engine on the railway. Proteus was never late, and even so, the cars behaved back then, because of course they knew, through their discipline, that one mistake and the railway would be closed. Never once was Proteus ever late, and he always arrived on time. And this streak was amended and known all around the country. The exposure became so popular that the railway was able to purchase 2 engines, Skarloey, Rheneas and I, and even a big station. And everyone was happy. And still, Proteus was never late. But one day I was running very late. Never mind, said Proteus. I'll just take the shortcut. But the shortcut went through a great castle, an abandoned castle, and an area of the line that no engine ever dared to go. But Proteus was a steadfast engine, he was, and trundled cheerfully on. Proteus came upon the castle. It takes no fear, he said. And so, without fear, Proteus turned his headlamp on and plunged into the castle. Suddenly, the track disappeared. The gate rose by itself. And shut. It was very quiet, but not for long. Suddenly, a mystic figure appeared in the tower, and high above the castle walls, a wolf cry that could be heard all over Sodor went out, way above the castle walls. Suddenly, an engine's whistle wheeshed and blowed for maybe the whole world to hear, never to be heard again. The next morning, Proteus's car was found with all the passengers inside, living with no injuries. But Proteus was never found. We all mourned for the loss of a great friend, and the church bell chimed 99 times for every year that Proteus had been alive. And never in those 99 years had Proteus ever been late. And to this day, 99 years later, Proteus has still never been found. But recently, and it started about a month ago, I don't think I've been the only one, but I've been hearing wolf cries coming from the castle that was recently put back up. I've heard them too, said Peter Sam. It kind of disturbs me, said Skarloey, but I haven't heard an engine whistle yet. Well, what about me? Said Sir Handel. Oh, you didn't come until 5 years later after all of this, said Skarloey. Whoa. What about me and Peter Sam? Said Sir Handel. Oh, it was about 50 years later when y'all came by to work for us. And times have changed a lot since then. But I will never forget Proteus, said Skarloey. A great friend, never late, and never with a discouraging word, he said. Oh, I miss the old fellow. I can still recall exactly what he looked like, with a lamp above his head, a face brighter than the sun, a yellow paint, 2 domes, and a large funnel, with a cab, 6 wheels, and his name printed on the side. Oh, what a great engine, sighed Skarloey. I can still remember one of the things he said to me when I first came to the railway. I told him I wanted to be the hero of the railway, and he told me that heroes can be remembered, but legends will never die. To me, Proteus is a legend, said Skarloey. Just then, the engines heard a whistle come from above, and then the cry of a wolf. Oh dear, said Rheneas. I'm going to bed. That's kind of creeping me out. Skarloey, don't ever tell that story again. I don't have plans to, said Skarloey, and the engines fell asleep.